Mark Todd here with the Sunset Rewind, and I have a phenomenal coach to introduce to you, Matty Cunniffe. Coach Cunniffe.
I don't know phenomenal, Coach. I don't know phenomenal. So
Now, but at home, you're from Boston, so does everybody call you Matty?
everyone at home calls me Matty and calls me by my real name, Martin, if I'm in trouble.
Martin? Yeah, dude. I feel like I'm on an episode of Ted.
Well, if you close your eyes, I sound like Mark Wahlberg. So
Parking was brutal.
parking was brutal.
Today. Anyway, but I'm here with Coach Matt Cunniffe, and Matt is, as you can tell, is from Boston or Massachusetts. Outside, are you Boston proper?
So
Or,
I'm about 20 minutes outside, 15, 20 minutes.
like,
So
are you towards Gillette or the other direction?
I'm further from Gillette, so I'm from Needham, Mass. So it's
Okay.
right. So if you have West Roxbury, Needham's the next town over. So it's next to
Gotcha.
Dedham. as
Gotcha,
well, so.
gotcha. I have friends that were old roommates from Sandwich and from. Oh my God, he's gonna kill me if I forgot where he grew up. It'll come back to me. Anyway.
Sure, we'll circle back.
Yeah, anyway. So, Matty, tell me, first of all, I saw your game last night, and I hadn't got a chance to see Los Al or CDM play this year until last night. And I got there, it was about 7-3. It was 7-3 for a long time.
Yes.
And I was like, wow, what happened? And then I saw a few little things, and that we'll talk about that game, and we'll get into
course.
you too. But let's talk about that game real quick right out the gate here because it's fresh. So it's 7-3. CDM's next goal, it was 7-3 for about like 5 minutes, which in a lacrosse game is a long
Very
time,
long time.
for a score to remain stagnant. And then the goalie got a ground ball, and he exited to the left of the cage to the back corner, and then the ride kind of pressured him, and he lost a ground ball. And they got 2 ground ball goals that are just like real quick pickups in front of the net. Those are the ones that kill you.
Yeah, I mean, the whole our scouting report and everything like that was based off CDM's ride, which is very infamous or famous depending on who you are. And
Yeah.
you know, we wanted to take our time with it, be deliberate with the clears, use our athletes, which are our middies, as you can see. We
Yep.
have a phenomenal bunch of middies, James Stevens and all our defensive middies. But
Yep.
I think with our goalie, you know, shocking, he never played lacrosse until his freshman year.
Wow.
And here he is, one of the better goalies in Orange County. And it's just those intangibles in terms of clears, ridings, face-offs. If you can capitalize on those in a game, that's going to maximize your opportunities to score.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, you know, they scored 2 goals off that, and you know, kind of didn't break us, but it kind of put us in a hole where we kind of had to scrap out of it a little
Yeah,
bit.
those are the tough ones to get back. Unless you get those in return,
Yes.
you get some stuff. And I saw you guys were really trying to. You had number 1 kept cutting into the crease. It looked like your man up plays and a couple plays where he's kind of cutting back door, and he had some cuts. It's just the passes were a little low to him.
Yes. So, I mean, a lot of our man up is a lot of smoke and mirrors, just as,
Yeah.
as a lot of them are. But we had a lot of man opportunities. I think, again, it's capitalizing on, you know, getting a goal on the doorstep or getting a good outside shot. And,
Yeah.
you know, we had those opportunities, but the CDM's goalie, Dom, made, 5 great saves.
Yeah, he has some great saves, and they forced you guys to do a lot of shooting outside.
Yes.
Your interior stuff, they were on top of you pretty quick.
And they played very well tight. They packed it in. CDM's defense did, and we were trying to spread them out, but we were behind the 8 ball, so we kind of had to push the tempo. And CDM was really good on the offense at selling things down, getting to their spots on the ozone, and getting everything. So when we got in the offensive, you get a little antsy. If you hadn't had the ball in 2 or 3 minutes, you get a little antsy on that end.
And you start pressing.
Pressing.
You guys got chippy too. There was a lot of stuff going on in the midfield with both teams and athletes going on. And then after one of them, it turned out to be where CDM had a 2.5-minute penalty. Talk about that.
So, I mean, with our boys, Los Al, our identity is very gritty and scrappy. You know,
That's correct.
I like to say they're kind of Bostonian, but we play a run and gun. You know, we're going to out-athlete you with ground balls. We're going to out-athlete you in defense. So, the play illegal sick. I hate doing that as a coach personally,
Right.
but he walked by and I could see the ball and the pocket just bagging out. And at that point, we have to get any advantage or any position be advantageous for us.
And as a coach, it's incumbent upon you to protect your team's interests.
Yes.
Right. So speaking of coaching, let's get into who
Sure.
you are, Matty, and then we'll get into some of your players and some more highlights about them. What's your background in lacrosse, and what did you do? Did you play before coaching? Give me some of the highlights.
So
about
yes, I grew up in Boston, Massachusetts, Needham specifically, and I grew up just like any New England kid playing every sport. I played baseball, soccer, basketball, and specifically hockey. And I was on skates at 3.5, and I played all the way through high school and to 18. And around 13, I picked up a lacrosse stick. Funny story is my mother went to UMass, and she was part of the first female class that went to UMass Amherst. And part of the requirement was to take PE. And part of the PE was lacrosse. So my baseball career, I wasn't very good at it, was ending. And I'm a very busy, active kid at that time. She hands me a lacrosse stick and kind of taught me how to catch and throw. And
your mom taught you how to catch and throw?
Yes.
That's excellent.
And if
That's
you take
fantastic.
how you receive and shoot a hockey puck, it's the same thing. You just bring it above the shoulders. It's very soft hands. And 13, I played 7th, 8th grade, played high school, Catholic Memorial High School, go Knights. Started 4 years there, 2-year captain. I'm actually the first Division I athlete or lacrosse player out of that school. Went on, got into Holy Cross, the best college in the world in Worcester, Mass.
We have a lot of local kids who went to Holy Cross.
Yes.
Shout out to, my former kids. I couldn't see them. I'll get back to them too.
No, well, Los Al as a player currently playing Julian Jenkins, one of the best defensemen I think to come through Los Al, but he's out there currently and played 4 years at Holy Cross, and probably the best experience I've had. Kind of a rude awakening to see how I needed to increase my skills as well. And then after college, I got the coaching bug. So I went back to CEM, Catholic Memorial, and coached JV and helped out with varsity. I coached in the Medfield Youth Lacrosse League, and Medfield is kind of a powerhouse program, public school program in Massachusetts. From there, unfortunately, the company I was working for at the time, I wasn't able to coach, but somehow in the world, the company was moving down actually to Washington, D.C. You could either move with them or take your severance. I took my severance and said, I'm going west. I had a connection with Long Beach Poly at the time, and I helped start the Long Beach Poly program back in 2017. I think that was second year they were there. In 2021, or the summer of 2019, came on at Los Al as an assistant. In 2021, I took over the program, and here we are right now.
Well, you've done a great job,
Thank you.
and Los Al has definitely kept that gritty role. How many students are in Los Alamitos?
Total population?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
That's a big draft. There's like 5,000 kids.
There
maybe,
is
right?
probably. It's a lot bigger than my high school, which was 500 boys.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, what a great pool of kids to
Yes.
pull from. Who got you into coaching? What inspired you to get into coaching, and who was your biggest influence?
My biggest influences, I think, in coaching it was all my hockey coaches.
Gotcha.
And number one, growing up with the hockey coaches, they were fathers who had a great high school career, and they're just volunteering their time to help grow the game in hockey. And then my hockey coach in high school, Bill Hansen, he's a Massachusetts legend, kind of hardcore, Southie guy, very no-brains, tough, but he taught you life lessons. And then my college coach, Adam Pascal, played at Middlebury, coached at Holy Cross, and I think I can say he was my first real lacrosse coach.
Got it. The Ortley brothers. That's who I was.
Ortley, yes. Yes, that name rings a bell.
I went blank. Mike Ortley, actually a CDM guy, was the first goalie in NCAA lacrosse to score 2 goals in one game.
Yes, and I remember seeing this Corona Del Mar on the roster. I'm like, I don't know where that is.
Well, now you do.
Now we play them, once a year. So
right? Yeah. My God, I can't believe I'm having a sugar crash or something. Anyway, so then. Now you're influencing the game. Have you seen anything that you've said or done that has impacted a player, change the way they look at the game and then change the way they look at life?
I think as a coach, I believe in the philosophy that through this microcosm of this sport, lacrosse, where I'm not coaching a lacrosse player, I'm coaching a young man to be a better man when he grows up. In terms of life lessons, maybe getting through a little adversity, getting his grades up, or doing the extra work. You don't, if you plant a tree, you're not going to see everything, so it's putting a little time in and trusting that process. And I think that's something that's been happen through our players. And one big thing with me is that I'm tough but fair, and I can still kid around with the players. I can still mess around with them at times as well.
I've seen you coach not only at the high school level, but I've seen you coach at youth level too. And I think that that style of coaching, that you're approachable even to the little kids who are usually oftentimes afraid to talk to an adult, especially a coach in a power position. And you've made yourself approachable.
Yes.
But again, tough where there's expectations and they know them.
Yeah, thank you, 100%. And I think especially with little kids, personally as a coach, it keeps you fresh and it energizes you. And these kids are just sponges and they want to learn everything, but you have to just provide them a direction, but you got to let them grow.
Got it. Now, have you, what's your biggest lesson you've learned in your coaching career?
Patience. Patience.
Boy, that is not a more true word to be said in coaching is patience. It's funny because oftentimes as coaches, we think because we communicated something that it was understood and therefore it should be applied on the field. And that's seldom the case because usually they're thinking about, well, I got to zit or I got to go to the bathroom or I got to do my homework tonight. And they're not even tuned in to the conversation.
No, and I mean, patience is also, you have to have patience in development of the player, patience, and maybe you have to tell them 2 or 3 times. But again, I think in this world of everyone wants to go to cell phone, a post-it, everything like that, you got to teach them just to be in the moment. And that's part of patience.
Who are your captains? Tell me about your captains.
So we have 5 captains.
5 captains.
5 captains is Jack Wickelson, a defenseman, Sammy Brackman, Dylan Hobbs, James Stevens, and Charlie Widmer. Charlie's a force. I mean, he's number 44. You saw him. Yes. Right now he's about 90 points. He's just a 6'2", 190-pound bowling ball that can run and shoot the lights out. And he's a leader on the field. He's a vocal captain. He understands the game. James Stevens, he's a pit bull. I was his first lacrosse coach at Beach, and he's an old-school throwback, 2A midi, great defender, can run. I think he's one of the fastest kids in Southern California. He'll be on the wings on face-offs, but guess what? If you need him to run and shoot, he'll shoot.
Is that the kid that cleared the ball up the bench sideline?
Yep.
Yeah, he had speed. You could see
speed,
I
and
see that.
He's a little brother. So if I had a team full of little brothers that got beat up by the bigger brothers, it would be phenomenal. He's going to play on Lake Erie College up in Ohio. Dylan Hobbs. I mean, this kid is just, he can shoot the lights out. He's fast and he leads by example on the field. Sammy and Jack on the defensive end, they're just are staples back there. They're not very vocal in the huddles, but they'll go out there and direct. And I think Sammy and Jack are just great at being great mentors to the underclassmen.
Are they all seniors?
They're all seniors.
Oh man, so you got a big loss in leadership there. You got anybody coming up in your sophomore class?
We do. So a lot of juniors are coming up. Rob Hansen, he's another attackman. If you saw number 9 on the field, great overhand shot for everyone, all the young kids out there. He shot 86% last year, and I think he's around 60% shooting with a right-handed overhand 12-6 shot. But he, again, just kind of like Charlie, it looks nonchalant in the field, but the way he plays is very relaxed. And I think he's an upcoming leader. As well, we have a lot of long pulls that I'm just waiting for them to step up.
That's a deceptive style of playing, that relaxed lacrosse player, because it looks like they're not even trying. They're so fluid, and they just boom, and they're gone. I had a guy that I played high school football with, and he got recruited to Texas to play running back. And he was sprinting, and it didn't even look like he was even trying.
And that going back to Julian Jenkins, Julian Jenkins looked like an antelope on the plains of Africa because he's running, and every one step was someone's 3 steps, and he's running. And I thought he was jogging, but I ran a sprint, and he's running 5 times faster than I'll ever
He's just fluid,
run.
right?
Fluid.
So, how do you handle conflicts amongst your team? Do they handle that, or?
I think I'm a big team first person. No one's above the team. I'm not above the team. The players aren't above the team. If there's a conflict within there, we'll handle it. If they need to go do a ground ball drill to get it out, they'll get it out. And they're boys at the end of the day. But I think vocalizing it and talking it out and approaching it head on. Don't push it on the rug.
Last night I saw you talking to the team. I didn't hear what you were saying, but it looks like they were very tuned in and locked into what you had to say. And I know last night was essentially you came in second place last year,
Yes.
And last night was probably that same battle for first and second place in the Sunset League, was it not?
Yes. It's going to come down to CDM and us for, the last 5 seasons.
Not since I left Newport.
Well, they're up and coming. I love what Coach Blake's doing.
Yeah, I love Blake. He's one of my favorite people on earth. He's just a good soul, good human being.
He is a phenomenal coach.
And he's doing what he's doing. He's carrying a mountain of work with him there.
He is.
Let me ask you this. So when you talked to the team last year, what, 14-2, 14-3?
Some 12-4, something like that.
You had a strong. I saw it briefly in my prep work for this. What's your record now?
We're 14-3.
14-3
yes.
right now. How many games you got left?
We got 1. We play Newport Harbor Monday. So, so we got 1 game left before the playoffs.
One game left for Newport Harbor on Monday. All right. So are you there or here?
At Newport Harbor.
At Newport. So you're getting some scouting at practice while you're down there, Coach?
Yeah, a little bit. I don't like to reveal my full hand yet.
Right. What does a typical practice session look like at Los Alamitos?
So I found out the nice sweet spot is 90 minutes. So we'll stretch, we'll get stick work. This year we've been incorporating, before we go into our specific drills, is 4v3 keep away.
Yeah.
And that's a Coach Brian Kelly lesson I've learned, but it allows everyone to get their sticks going, touches, their feet going, defense can rotate. And then I switch defense and offense plays in. So now the offense gets their rotation, their sticks up. Defense, if I like it or not, has to handle the ball.
Yeah.
And we go into horseshoe, which is it's a 3v2, 4v3, 5v4 drill, but it gets everyone rotating, everyone moving, looks for skip passes. Then we get into our nitty gritty. I always say we get tough drill, a ground ball drill. Then we go into flow drill. Then we go 6s, and we do our special team, man up, man down. I always say infield, outfield batting practice.
There was some gritty ground balls last night. I mean, there was some very, very gritty ground balls last night. And I thought the refs did a pretty good job of keeping the flags in their pocket for the most part. But rightly so, they didn't really have to pull them, because the kids were getting shoulders in the front side, chest side of the guys, and the hits were clean, I thought, for the most part.
I mean, you and I come from different parts of lacrosse, and your idea of clean hit's different than mine, but specifically in practice, we ingrain it. You have to keep your hands together, shoulder down, don't hit high.
Yeah.
If it does happen in practice, there is a punishment, or next drill you're gonna get it.
I tend to be a little bit more let the kids play when I'm reffing right now, which is my penance right now. So
also I don't think what a flag is. There's no banana peels on the field when you're reffing youth. So
I try to let the kids play, and they don't really. They're 50 pounds.
It's not really a hit. They're more running because they were looking at the ground.
Yeah. What is your philosophy on playing time, and how do you communicate it with your players?
It's just like being on team. It's a privilege. And playing time, also a big thing, specifically at Los Al, is know your role. Know your role specifically.
How many multi-sport athletes do you have?
Right now on the team, on varsity, I think we have a handful, 5, which I'd like to be more. But, in years past, we've had 15, 20 multi-sport athletes as well.
Do you and a football coach collaborate at all? Do they see it as a good off-season sport for football? Because they're prolific in football.
They do. I mean, I'm a big proponent of a 2-sport athlete. That's what I was in high school.
Yeah.
I think it also reduces burnout. You develop different muscles, but also keeps it fun. I do talk to Coach Fenton a lot, and I understand that when they get to the higher levels, football may be the better avenue to go to college or go to the next level, but they all know lacrosse and they all love it. All the coaches were there on the sideline last night.
Were they? That's
the
great.
track coach and everything like that. So it's just lacrosse has been the in thing since I took over head coach.
Oh, that's big. Yeah. And you took over a coach for Coach Chris Jewett, who did a really fine job there. Were you right after Chris, or was there somebody in between you guys?
It was Coach Jewett, Chris, Tim Fox, and then I took over
Timmy Fox.
Yeah,
my bad.
No.
Sorry about that, Timmy. I love Timmy Fox. So
he's awesome. He's my good friend.
Good man.
Awesome.
A really good man. Are there any players from your program who've gone on to play college ball?
So, yeah, right now in the class of 2021 is Ed Sheen playing at Ohio State. I think
he is. I coached against him. He is difficult to
there's
cover.
lacrosse players, and then there's Ed Sheen.
Yeah.
Ed Sheen was what you want in a player. And a quick story is our athletic director, Rich Smith, lives in Seal Beach, and Zodit Field. There's a dog park there right now, but it used to be open. I get a call from Rich Smith, and when you get a call from the athletic director, it's going to be good or bad.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, oh no,
Yes,
what
sure.
happened?
Yeah.
And he goes, Coach, Ed. I go, what did he do? Because Ed's the best kid in the world.
Yeah, yeah.
Ed would lug his rage cage and shoot. Now, this is 5:30, 6:30 in the morning before school.
Wow.
There's a reason why he's at Ohio State. There's a reason why he was an All-American. There's a reason why he was one of the best players in California at the time.
Yeah.
So he's at Ohio State. There's Julian at Holy Cross, dominating the defensive end. Drew Anderson over at Marist. He's just one of the angriest midfielders I met, but can shoot the ball 100 miles an hour at the upper 90.
Yeah.
Connor Engel, he was at Lindenwood, but we know what happened in that program. He's at Manhattan.
Yeah.
Matt Carisi at Concordia. Corey Bergman at York. Ryder Buell playing at Delaware. Now, Ryder Buell is a phenomenal defensive
They're making
mid.
impact, Coach.
Yeah.
Are there any players under the radar?
Under the
coming
radar.
up on the roster now.
Oh, well, right now I said Rob Hansen
Yep.
is there. Kane Newcomb, he was a face-off guy. He's only been facing off for a year. This is his second season. Played JV last year, but he already has offers coming there. And Zach Whitman, he's a sophomore starting defenseman, just real cerebral, very physical. Again, a younger brother.
Right.
Long sick midi, Gavin Bastelli. I think I'm pronouncing his name wrong. I'm not sure. And number 1, Cooper Lindholm. On the
awesome.
attack.
So we got to wrap it up. But
Sure.
how does everybody in Boston have an Irish-sounding name? Matty Cunniffe. That's the most Irish-sounding.
Well, Coach, I didn't mean to correct you. It's Cunniffe. So, Cunniffe.
Good.
Cunniffe.
Good.
So I don't know. I mean, as I said, I always look for good Italian food, Irish food. But talking to my friends and my father, they weren't very Irish by the time they got to California. But everyone has an Irish-sounding last name. I mean, if it ain't in the Bible, I don't know. They don't really. They're not very creative, I guess.
I just like to have fun with my Boston buddies. So where do you think you're going to be seated? And as we wrap up and we get ready for the playoffs, what should we look for LaSalle?
LaSalle, I think we're getting ready for the second season. We're ready to go. I mean, one loss isn't going to diminish what we've done this season. Yeah. I mean, we're still going to play a scrappy, gritty, blue-collar type ball and look for a high-flying LaSalle.
How are you health-wise?
LaSalle-wise?
Yeah.
We're good. I mean, knock on wood, we're fine. Just to raise nicks and bruises.
Just late in the season, typical stuff.
Late in the season. I mean, but everyone, we have a great sports med staff at LaSalle.
Fantastic. That's a great thing to have a great PT group there. Well, Coach, love what you've been doing there.
Thank you.
And you got a tough shoes to fill with both Fox and with my gosh,
Jewett, Rhode Island guy.
My God, I'm just having a brain fade today. Like, we got to have these earlier in the morning. But I love what you're doing. I can't wait to watch more of what you do. I love even watching you as a referee now, how you interact with the kids on the sideline. It's perfect. And I think all the parents in the Los Alamitos program and in the Beach Lacrosse program are in good hands. And God bless you, Coach.
Well, I appreciate it, Coach.
You got it, brother.
Thank you.
Man.
Appreciate it.